So I got a question the other day where someone was talking about how like sometimes they can't find that positive perspective to shift their mindsets and shift their emotions. And they're like, well, what do you do then? Okay. And that's what I want to talk about here. So a little context. That video, I was talking about what to do to like really shift your emotions at a deep level, right? And my point is that if you want to shift your emotions, you got to get down to the root emotion. And whenever we're dealing with negative emotions, the root emotion, I believe the deepest thing is always a form of sadness. All right. Sadness is at the bottom of everything. So you take sadness, you shake it up, then it'll become anger. It'll become frustration. It can become, fear. Okay. But at the core of it all is a sadness. Basically, it's like you looking at some aspect of reality and you're like, oh, that sucks. Or, a more intense version of like, oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's a tragedy. Oh, that's unbearable. It's basically you being at war with reality, saying, hey, this part of reality sucks, is bad, is not good. I don't like it, whatever. And then all our negative emotions kind of stem from that. And so if we want to shift that, we got to get down into that sadness and we got to somehow find a perspective on that sad thing that renders it not so sad. Okay. Something that we can say, I can live with that. Even if I don't love that it happened, I can turn it into the beginning of a better story, right? You think about all hero stories, they have some kind of tragedy in them. Usually there's two. Usually there's the tragedy of the hero's youth. It's like, for Spider-Man, it's Uncle Ben getting killed, or Batman, his parents getting killed. Like, obviously it's kind of a cheap device to kill the kid's parents, but Disney and comic book writers have been using that stuff for decades. But the idea still stands. It's like, all right, there's that kind of core wounding tragedy, and then that hero, they take that tragedy and then they take upon the tragedies of the world and they do good stuff with it. They rise above it. And then we have a hero story, a triumph story. Okay. And so sometimes when we're trying to shift our perspective on an event that's really, got us hurt emotionally, we're not sure what that reframe should be. It's like, I just got divorced, or, I had a family member die, or, I just been rejected by women constantly, or whatever it is. You have some situation you're looking at and you're like, man, I don't know how to not be sad at that. I don't know how to be okay with this. And this is where the adventure of your life truly begins. Because so much of what life's adventure is about is going on that journey of transformation where you can look at something that previously stopped you, paralyzed you, destroyed you. Going through a process of transformation where you can look at that same thing and not only be okay with it. The highest level is to be able to have a level of gratitude for it. So, for example, in my life, I've struggled a lot with sexuality in general. I've suffered a lot of sexual pain. I've been addicted to porn. I've had, all kinds of stuff that really messed me up around it. But I stayed with it. I wrestled with those problems. I went on an adventure to try and figure out what to do with all of that. And I learned a tremendous amount. I grew a tremendous amount. And now, I can help thousands of guys all around the world, quit porn, get their mindset straight, all this kind of stuff. And the only reason I am able to do that is because I had that suffering, because I had that pain, because I was willing to go on the adventure of trying to find a better perspective. And now I can actually look back at all those sufferings. I can't, I'm not going to call it good. It wasn't good that I had a porn addiction. It's not good that I acted in, bad ways in the past. It's not good that people acted badly toward me. But I can still actually even look at those objectively bad instances, those bad things, and still have gratitude for them because they are a part of my life. And they're a part of my life that I went on an adventure of turning into something good. That is the spiritual alchemy of life, to turning the lead into gold. And so when you're getting stuck on a mindset piece, where you just have something that just seems so hard you don't know how to deal with, then that means you need to expand. Okay, you need to actually step out of the domain of what you know and into the domain of the unknown. That's what an adventure is. There's no such thing as an adventure in a world where you already know how everything works. That's not adventurous. Adventurous is going into the unknown, allowing yourself to be transformed by what you find in that unknown, and ultimately becoming stronger for it. This is the essence of the heroic archetype, of the heroic spirit that flows through you. And as a man, I think we have a particularly fiery version of this sort of heroism that calls us to seek out challenge, to seek out monsters to slay, to go do dangerous, hard things. Our testosterone supports us in this if we are able to get ourselves into a healthy state in it. So, my guys, like, if you're stuck, don't lose heart, okay? You have just found a quest. You have just found your quest, and you just need to walk it. You need to enter out into that unknown. You need to cross that threshold and see what happens and have the bravery to stay on the trail. Yeah, you're going to suffer setbacks, failures, and that sort of thing. And guess what? You might even die. No, literally, you could die. We could all die at any point, right? But guaranteed, you will psychologically die. And that's what we're looking for, is like that old you that couldn't even comprehend a better way of looking at things, couldn't even comprehend a good outcome. That version of yourself will die. But if you go on this adventure, that version of yourself will be reborn. It will be reborn as the better hero, the upgraded version. You'll go from Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White, or whatever it is. Most hero stories, they have this point where it looks like, oh, the hero died, but guess what? He didn't, and now he came back and he saved the day. Because that's psychologically how things work. A part of us has to die on the adventure so that another part can be born. And you don't need to be scared of that. Eventually, once you do it enough on the micro level, you realize, oh shit, that's like living is literally dying. Right? Like, that's if you really want to live your life to the fullest, then you must be constantly dying to the old you, the old limited, corrupt you, and you will just be reborn as something higher, brighter, more good, more fulfilled, more connected to truth, more optimistic, more hopeful, more loving. This is what we're aiming for as guys. So if you want to join a group of other guys who do the same kind of thing, who believe in the same thing, who believe in this power of transformation, who believe in the capacity for heroic adventure in your everyday life, well, then you're going to check out the Self-Mastery Club. So check out the link. Check out my Manhood Mastery training to get some practical tools to help you on this journey. And I will see you guys in the next one. Ooh, yeah.